Here we go. Right now, we're going to look at myths and legends. Now, you know how I feel about myths and legends. I'm not a super big fan. One thing, myths and legends have to be treated the same as religion. And with religion, we have to look at the myths, legends, and religion as creations of people. If we don't look at it as creations of people, then we're going to get into arguments. But if we look at it as a creation of people, then we can look at what those myths and legends mean. Now, there are two major myths and legends when we look at Rome. The first one is going to be the Aeneid, and the other one is about Romulus and Remus. Now, the Aeneid is a story about Aeneas. Aeneas, he is a refugee from Troy. He escapes Troy, burning down. The Greeks have destroyed it, and he flees toward Italy. He moves in with the Etruscans and marries in with them and becomes the father of the Latin people there. Now, all of us have stories like that, if we know them. I know that in my family tree, one of my big points of pride is I have several, not just one, but several people who fought in the American Revolution. I don't think it's that unique. There's a lot of people in our country who have had people fight in major wars like the American Revolution or other things like that. It doesn't matter where you're from. You probably have someone in your family tree that was very important. Now, Romulus and Remus. This one is more complicated because Romulus and Remus, you have two boys. Okay, you have similar stories to Romulus and Remus in the Bible. You have Cain and Abel, but you have two boys who are born very competitive. Oh, another two boys, Isaac and Esau, in the Bible too. And these two boys can be competitive. Now, Romulus and Remus are kind of an interesting situation. They were thrown into a river, into the Tiber River in a basket, and a she-wolf pulls them out. A shepherd comes along a few days later and rescues them from the she-wolf, who is nursing them and taking care of them. Once he takes them, he raises them as his own until I think a king comes by. He finds them and he recognizes them as his grandsons. And he tells his daughter, and they come and reclaim the sons. But Romulus and Remus, they eventually land at the site on the Tiber River where they believe the she-wolf rescued them, and they establish their own little city. Now, in establishing their city, they both had different dreams. Remus dreamt that there were, I think, 6 crows or ravens that flew around his home site, and he thought that was a sign that he should be king. Romulus said, wait, I had the same dream, but there were 12. So there's a lot of competition. Now, sibling rivalry is very common. I won't tell you all the stories about my brothers and me, but there was quite a bit of sibling rivalry. Now, eventually, the story goes on that Remus mocked Romulus about a wall he built around his house. So Romulus killed him. Now, that's a very complicated story. I'm not sure how to deal with it because we don't know what's true, what's fact, how much is made up, and what does it mean when you kill your own brother. Okay, Cain killed Abel. Jacob and Esau, not Isaac and Esau. Jacob and Esau. Jacob tricked Esau out of his birthright, and so they were naturally competitors. And so there's a lot of stories in our history, in our past, in our culture that has this sibling rivalry aspect to it. And it's really complicated. Now, what does it mean? What does it actually tell us about what is going on in life? And that is where it comes down to this, because literature or mythology is actually literature. And so when you're looking at mythology, you're actually looking at literature. And so when you say this is not an English class, sorry, English class, literature right here. One guy I discovered back in the late 80s, early 90s was Joseph Campbell. He was amazing. Now, Joseph Campbell, he did this series called The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers. It was I believe, a 6-part interview where they sat down and talked about various aspects of mythology. And one thing that I really like about Joseph Campbell is this hero's journey. he breaks down the hero in a mythology into 12 different acts or 12 different stages. A lot of movies nowadays follow this. I think Star Wars does, Lord of the Rings, all these different popular movies, even I think Harry Potter. They all follow this kind of format where you have this hero that's called on a quest. They don't want to go, but eventually they go. And then they have these different stages that they go along through on their quest. So one thing I don't like about mythology, it's too complex. It really takes a lot of study to understand the stories of mythology. A lot of times you need higher education, high school and beyond, to really delve into mythology into mythology. Joseph Campbell, he was kind of unique. He did not have a advanced degree. I'm not sure if he had a college degree. I have to look it up. But he really studied mythology and made it his own. So he was an exception to the rule. Now, mythology, take a look at the lessons, see what you want to work on. But that's my take on mythology, and these are the notes for you. Good luck with everything.